Hi guys, this is Ravenclaw Whatif. This is basically a update video on my what if Deku is a pure-blooded exile vampire, where I'm taking the story and the whole discussion about UA. From the point of view of the main character Deku, I really don't see him wanting to go to UA because he doesn't want to interact with humans affair too much. And I don't think the Queen would allow a vampire to go into the spotlight as a hero. Just in case his identity gets discovered. That would put Deku in danger and put the whole vampiric species in danger as well. So I don't see him doing that. And when it comes to Deku, he does follow the status quo, who's in power. He might be an exile vampire, but he'll listen to the Queen. He follows a vampiric law very strictly. And I really don't see the point for him to go to UA because he doesn't need no freaking license to go and kill someone. I mean, he's a vampire. He's not gonna go up and do it in broad daylight or anything like that, but he would. My point of view in the character, while he see it, he would see this license as just a piece of paper. It's not even worth his time. That would be beneath him. Any law that a human makes up, it would be beneath him. Now he doesn't hate humans, but he's superior to humans. That's what he believes. Now he doesn't treat humans as differently as any other race because he's not a douche. So if anything, if he was going to do something like hero work, he would do vigilante stuff. But I don't see him doing that either. See, he's from a different time and a different place, so he doesn't have that drive to be a hero. He comes from an old-fashioned family with old-fashioned morals and morals and I'm looking for the right word to use this morals and what he should do. Yeah, so I can't pronounce it right now because I had it in my head a second ago, then it just disappeared. Enough about UA stuff. He's not going to UA. It just doesn't make sense for his character. He has to have a legitimate reason to go to UA. I just don't see him in his character. Him to go about that. There's no way I can make that happen. That's how Deku works. Is he won't get involved into human affairs unless a supernatural creature is involved. He'll let the humans do what they want. The only reason he interacted with Toga at first is because there's a werewolf. Therefore, it was considered for him worth the risk to expose himself at that time. I've had my what ifs called I've had people call my what if not what ifs. I don't know what my stories are. I just call them what if stories. So I don't really. They're basically what if stories. They're pretty much almost fanfics at this point. How I've been doing my what ifs. I'm using what ifs sparingly because I like to create my own story, so I do a lot more work into a normal what if than you normally would. Because in like majority of what ifs that don't go outside of the circle that everyone for some reason likes to stay in there, stay in. They just follow the canon story, add a couple dialogue, couple changes, and then you're done. But I like to add more than just a change or two there. If I'm gonna do if I'm gonna do a what if series, like look at Hero Academia. You could do so much of the same story over and over again until it gets really competitive and you lose interest. So that's why a lot of times I make my own shit up because I find it highly entertaining, and I love it when people complain about it because they complain all they want, but listen, I'm gonna keep doing it. So I haven't had one of those in a long time. But when I first started out this channel, everyone get up. I got a lot of comments. Say this is not a what if, blah blah blah. They put a whole column. I mean, but they would never like write anything. Write anything that I could use. Like I've had people comment on my what ifs. I mean, if it's good criticism, then I can improve my what if. But if they're just gonna go down and complain about it, there's no point. I don't even read that shit. So no one has done it in a long time. So your guys are all cool and I don't mind. On the internet, you find it's internet. If you can't handle the comment section, then you really don't belong on the internet, personally. But enough about that. And I also need to come up with a major threat, a major threat. Izuku's villain in the story. I was going through maybe a vampire, maybe a werewolf, maybe a witch, or a warlock. I'm not totally sure what supernatural creature is going to be the big bad in this story. All I could say is that he's going to be he's familiar with All for One. So that's all I could say because that's all I know at the moment where it comes to the story. I know in the next part, short spoiler, but I will be doing a part where he goes through the funeral to Lulu's funeral because she was basically his sister, given she was human, but still, Izuku did care for her quite a bit. So there will be a short, there would be a short, there would be a short part, the funeral. Then maybe, like in the comment I had before, maybe have Endeavor come in so that I could introduce Izuku to Endeavor in the Todorokis. So that would be. I'll think about it, and if I come up with a decent story, I'll add it into the what if story. Yeah, because I technically call my what if stories. So even in my even in my introduction when I go to my first what ifs when I first start them, I usually say what if stories because it's basically what that is. So let's try to get off that subject because I keep like coming back to it for some odd reason. But let's continue. And I'm also having a difficult time starting the ship, the second ship for this series with Bloodrin. I mean, Toga ship's like the relationship. It's building quite nicely. How I got Toga set up with Izuku. So I know in the last part, Rain was curious, but I don't know how to go about that to turn into that ship because how I introduced her late in the story. So I'm going to have to come up with a clever way to make it work. I'll figure out something. It won't be that hard to figure out. Now in the last episode, just making sure I give you guys some details on why Ezekiel was so weak because he was cursed for one, a blood curse, that constantly was injuring him all over the body. After he heals, the curse would activate again, and he would get injured again. So, and the lack of blood, because the vampires, the more blood they lose, they are weaker. So, and plus, Izuku is a pure blood, so technically, he is actually, it's a different species, so he's not a turned vampire, so they're different. They bleed like any other race, and they do, and they're able to, reproduce, unlike, turned vampires. They can't really do that. Normally, and it depends on what type of vampire you're working with. So, let's see. Now, I could actually work that in with Izuku because of Izuku's because he's a ancient pureblood family, so I could have Toga, be able to get pregnant, but that's not like that might be in the future. Might I haven't totally figured out. I haven't totally figured the story out to that to that degree, but yeah. And for you guys that want Deku to have another transformation, he's only gonna have one. The one that was in what episode was it called? Give me a second here. The Pure Blood's Wrath. In that episode, that's the only transformation he's gonna have. He could pop out wings when he wants, but a full transformation, that's his final transformation. There's no other one because there's no point in giving him more than one transformation. Deku's already super OP as it is. He doesn't need a second form. This is not Dragon Ball Z, so Deku's not a Saiyan, so he's not gonna go super vampire, stage 3 or 4, so now for the blood family, the father of Rain, I don't know who I'm gonna make that into. I might, because of Azawa's scheduling, I might actually say Azawa's a vampire just for the heck of it. That, well, he kind of looks like he kind of looks like what he wears. He kind of looks like a vampire would wear. So, that would actually kind of work. But I'll let you guys, if you like that idea, leave down a comment down below if you like to see that. But yeah, because it makes sense. Azawa is always sleepy, and yeah, he's. I've always thought Azawa looked like if there was a vampire in Hero Academia, he would be the first one to accuse. So him and Shinja, he always have that rings under his eyes, and the powers I've been giving him, it's from Vampire Knights. It's a very old anime, but I've always thought that was pretty interesting anime. How they did the vampires in that, where they all had like special abilities. I thought that was pretty cool, but I think that's pretty much about it. We have to go under. So I have to go to bed. It's getting pretty late. It's almost like 5 o'clock, so it's already like Saturday probably. Yep, it's officially Saturday. And I also was gonna come up. I was actually gonna implement this in the story. I want to get you guys feedback on this because I can make Izuku a little more powerful this way. I could have when the when the Vampire Council exiled Izuku, they placed blood seals on his body to lock away a lot of his vampiric power, so he doesn't become a threat. Because I could see them doing something like that, just in case they're just think because they would think about the future if Deku ever, went to come back to get payback, he's already, depowered. So I could always make an episode of that where he learns, trying to find a way to get rid of the blood seals that's over his body. That's locked his majority of his vampiric power. I could either do that or I could do like a small flashback when the council asked him to do what he did to his family and go through the family fight where he massacred his own family. I could do that in a flashback episode. When I leave plots out of the story like that, I always I usually put that like that so I could go back in a flashback if I really wanted to. Because if I add that part into the part zero, that would have that part zero would have been either long or I would have to really long, or I would have to make more episodes during the day for that. Like I would have to make like part zero A and part zero B. They would be like extremely like 30 minutes length, both of them. But I didn't want to do that. I was like, nah, I'll do that in a flashback because I could do that. Like have Tega, get the full story on Izuku's past and how he killed his own family and why he killed his own family. Then you have the the vampire hunter early into What If that I haven't implemented in the later part yet, but she is gonna, she's part of the story too. So I just don't know what to name her and when I'm going to implement her into the What If. It is. I'm continuing talking and it's like, oh, this is almost a 20-minute video. I wasn't sure how long this was going to be, guys. This is just a brief information about my vampire What If. So that's pretty much. Give me a second here. And I also been thinking about adding in a supernatural task force, supernatural task force into the What If organization that takes down supernatural creatures and captures them. I was thinking about putting something like that in the What If. This is does to spice things up. If you want to see that, leave down a comment if you want to see it or not. Actually, well, wonder if I should put that in the community poll. I'll put that in community poll. See if you guys. I'll put that in the community tab. Probably tomorrow when I get up, or later today, because it's already 5 o'clock. So PM. No, AM, because PM is afternoon. My bad. I got my AM and PM mixed up for some reason. Because if I make the supernatural task force, I don't know what the name is right now, but I'll come up with a name for it. But I'm thinking about having the Yadarozus that the Yadarozu runs it, Momo's parents. I was thinking of going that way. Because she seems the type. Her family seems the type. They're rich. They have the money. They definitely have the resources to have something high tech like that. Like I could say like this. Like maybe one day when Momo was young, she got attacked by a supernatural being, like maybe a vampire, a werewolf, and that's what got her father, made a task force to take down these creatures so he could keep his daughter safe, or his mother does it. I don't know which route I'm gonna go, but that's just that's just the idea of it because it fits well with the Momo's background with her family being so rich and everything. That works. Or I could do Melissa Shield. She could be one of. I could see, she would have, the technology at least wise and the money. I would think either one would work. Well, that's pretty much it, guys. Hope you guys have a good night. All right, catch you guys later. Bye.